Welcome back. Welcome back to HMG Podcast. This is your host, Hashim M. Garrett. Hope you're all doing well. Today's show is all about high school, and in particular, I want to talk about freshman year. I've been a motivational speaker, I've been an educational consultant for many, many years. And whenever I would go to a high school and I do a presentation, one of the things the administrators, the principals and the vice principals sit me down and say, you know what we really want you to do, Mr. Garrett, really want to talk to our freshmen, right? And it's usually I'm not usually when I'm coming into a school, sometimes I'll do freshman orientation, those weeks preceding freshman year, right? But oftentimes I'm coming mid year, and we're having conversations, and they're saying, "Listen, our freshmen are just so immature, right? The ninth graders, just a few months ago they were in middle school, they were in junior high school, and they're just bringing that immaturity. Same message. You name a school, rural, suburban, private, public, inner city, it's all the same, right? It's just adolescence and growing and maturing. And so here's the message for today. What I want to talk to you about is freshman year is such a pivotal year because we know high school comes with its own set of peer pressure, right? There's a sex happening, there's more drugs happening, there's sex comes with a teenage pregnancy, and there's sexually transmitted diseases, and kids are able, when they get into high school now, kids are driving and they have more autonomy and independence. So it's just such a like strange part of life, right? Because they're so close to adulthood. So imagine here you had just here we are. Let's use for an example. Right now it's August 2026. So you literally have kids who 2, 3 months ago they were in eighth grade, and now 2, 3 months later they're in high school and they're walking past other kids in the hallway who've got a full grown beard, and some of these kids are driving. Like, it's a culture shock for a lot of freshmen. So my advice that I want to give you today for parents, I hope you share this with your children, administrators, share this with young freshmen. And one of the things I want you to know about freshman year, why it's such an important year, is outside of just the social pressure and peer pressure, but high school now is those grades are following you when you want to get into the universities, right? They're not looking at eighth grade, test scores when you're going to apply to college, but they're looking at those freshman years, and they want to know what classes you're taking, right? And so you want to start strong and understand the importance of how this is going to impact you 2 years, 3 years down the road. The other part is, so we have university, right? And I know for most freshmen, they might not necessarily be thinking about college right now because they literally just walked into high school. So they're not thinking about higher ed. But the other part about high school that is such an important part is you did not have credits before in middle school. So most students, when they enter in high school, like, what is credits? What does that mean? They don't really understand, right? And I'm sure that the middle school guidance counselor might have explained it, but I've found that so many high school students, some of them are in the 10th and 11th grade. We're talking juniors and sophomores. And they're like, nah, Mr. God, I didn't know that I had credits. And they just didn't understand the gravity behind, failing a class and so how that impacts them. So it's now credit based, right? Just like higher ed has credits, whether your associates, your bachelor's, your master's, doctor's, right? It's credit. So we have those same, though that new rubric gets introduced in the high school. So all my freshmen understand that it's credits, and that plays a big role in, how many credits do you need to graduate. And you don't want to become deficient in your credits because you took ninth grade as a joke. And so that's the third part now is you have to grow up a little bit, right? And so sure, your bodies are changing, and you probably are getting some facial hair, and your voices are getting a little bit deeper, right? And then just the body is just maturing and growing and developing, but you have to just take ownership and say, I have to grow up a little bit. I have to conduct myself. I need to be able to sit in my classroom, pay attention to my teacher, and not have these little outbursts and conversations and joking around like I have to grow up a little bit. And so that is a big part of being able to come into high school is shedding some of those immature ways. Not asking you to be a full adult, but just understand that now you're in high school and there's a certain amount of responsibility that comes with you being a high school student, right? So one, understand that your grades matter. They're going to follow you. You need to get those good grades and you want to pass those classes because, again, second is about credits. So failing a class is going to impact you being able to get those credits to graduate on time. Third is make sure you're behaving yourself and, being focused, right? Making sure you're focused. And again, I'm going to end this show how I began it and just saying, let's not forget about the culture and the climate of the peer pressure. Peer pressure is a real thing, right? And so be mindful of the people you are surrounding yourself with. If you've never heard the saying, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. They say if you hang around 9 broke friends, you're bound to be the 10th one. Just be very, very careful about the company that you're keeping. Peer pressure is real. Right? And feeling pressure to, why you not drinking? Why you not vaping? Why you not doing this? Why you not having sex? Who's your boyfriend? Who's your girlfriend? All of the pressure, that is a real thing. So you want to just, understand it's okay to say no. It's okay. It's important to say no. And you can phrase it however you want to phrase it. You can be like, no, I'm good. Nah, you can blame it on your mother. You say, oh, my mom's going to lose her mind if I do this. Or my dad. Or nah, you're going to say my religion, whatever. You could say, I'm an athlete. I don't want to jeopardize my health. Like whatever it is, just be able to say no, right? Enjoy high school. Like get involved in clubs and enjoy it. Enjoy your youth. Enjoy those moments. Is every day going to be like a high and you're just going to love it? No. Is there going to be drama? It's just going to be it, right? It's life, right? There's this. People are going to be people, whether they're in high school, hospital, church, work, no matter where. People are people, right? Nobody's going to be perfect. So I'm just reminding you, just enjoy the process, but just be mindful of the pressure, right? Because, the decisions you make as a young person are going to impact you for the rest of your life. Because remember, at the end of the day, you're going to be older a lot longer than you're going to be young, right? And so those formative years of being in high school, they are literally laying down the blueprint. They are laying down the map for what the rest of your life could potentially look like, that positive or negative. So again, I just want to stress, please, excuse me, be very mindful, be cognizant, be aware of the group, the social clubs you are associating yourself with. It's okay to have one good friend as opposed to 10 meh friends. And everybody's not your friend. So it's okay to understand that. Not everybody is your friend, right? And that friendship, that takes a lot of time to figure out who your real friends are. You're going to know a lot of people, but that does not make them your friends. You have a lot of associates, you're going to have a lot of acquaintances, but you're lucky in this world if you have one good friend. And that goes with the ups and downs of, will they still like me if I say no? And that's going to be a good barometer for you to know if this is a good person for you to, connect yourself with. Because the moment you told them, no, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, and now they make fun of you, well, that obviously wasn't your friend. And now you learned a valuable lesson by saying no. All right. So I just want to encourage you, as you're getting ready for high school. And I know a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you today is not just for freshmen. This applies to, all of us as adults, all grades as grades. But I just wanted to make sure I stress to my freshmen how important to take high school. Sophomores, the same rule applies. Don't fall into the sophomore slump of like, all right, I'm not a freshman anymore, but I'm not really an upperclassman, So just sophomores too, don't fall into that slump of thinking, well, right? Where you just kind of feel like not necessarily you're lethargic about it, but you're just kind of a little disconnected, right? Hence, that's the phrase, sophomore slump. So make sure you take it seriously. Juniors, you got college, university coming up, right? Make sure those grades continue to do well. So again, I just want to encourage all of you. Congratulations. You're doing a great job. If nobody's told you, you are amazing. You are special. Whatever is rare has enormous value, and it is the same with you. Good luck for all of you. Stay well, stay blessed, stay focused. Signing out, Hashem.